Hello, dear students. Welcome to What, Why, How, the daily initiative by IAS Baba to take up a current topic or editorial and declutter it in less than 10 minutes. What we have taken up for today is actually an editorial that was mentioned in today's Hindu newspaper. The title of the editorial stands as this: The Legal Gaps in India's Unregulated AI Surveillance. And there is a byline that says there needs to be a comprehensive regulatory framework that addresses AI's implication for civil liberties. Now, this is a pretty long editorial that was mentioned. So, what I'm going to do is, from this editorial, what is needed for your prelims perspective, what is needed for your mains perspective, and what is needed for your interview. This is what we will discuss in detail. Now, starting up from the prelims perspective, I'll just give you an overview of what this editorial was about. The editorial tries to look into AI, and in India, now AI is being used for a lot of policing activities. Now, when I'm saying policing activities, it primarily means that AI is used to do facial recognition, AI is used in your airports, AI is used in several mediums like this to identify people, to collect any kind of data that is associated with them. Okay. Now, on the onset of it, it is being used primarily for law enforcement. But this editorial tries to ask if when we are doing this in India, are we actually following all the laws? Are we going against the fundamental rights of the people? All of these things are what is discussed in this editorial. Now, from the prelims perspective, there are few things that are mentioned in this editorial. For example, there is the usage of a word called as dragnet surveillance. Surveillance means looking into, spying into, looking into and collecting data for any kind of law and order activities, etc. But dragnet surveillance means it is a term that refers to the indiscriminate data collection beyond just suspects or criminals. Now, even if you have not done any crime, even if you're not a suspect in any crime, what happens is if your data is collected, if your facial recognition is done in a constant manner, this is something called as your dragnet surveillance. And it is an indiscriminate data collection. Indiscriminate means nobody is spared. Everybody's data is collected in this manner. Now, the reason why this article even comes into picture is because in India it is said that there is a lot of dragnet surveillance that is taking place. That is, people who have not consented to give their data, people who are not ready to maybe divulge their details, all of their data is being taken up through AI techniques. Now, it all started when in 2019, India said India is going to become the world's largest facial recognition system. It's going to create the world's largest facial recognition system for policing. From then onwards, in the major cities of Delhi and Hyderabad, this kind of a surveillance has happened. Now, to speak about surveillance, it brings into question. So, if this is all from the prelims perspective, understanding what is dragnet surveillance to create largest facial recognition system. Now, from the mains perspective, this article tries to make us understand that, see, surveillance is essential for law and order. But if that law and order is going against the fundamental rights of people, that is not advisable. Now, to establish this kind of a fact, the editorial quotes the Justice Puttaswamy judgment, which is the case Puttaswamy versus Union of India case of 2017, which had recognized privacy as a fundamental right. Now, when privacy was discussed as a fundamental right, it's not just your personal privacy, it is also informational privacy. Informational privacy means you don't have to give your data or your details or your biometric identification in places where it is not required. You have to be protected against unwanted means when it comes to giving out your data. Now, after the Puttaswamy judgment, we also had a Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which was passed in 2023, which also said the idea of the act is to give data privacy. But unfortunately, this act also had certain provisions like Section 7G, Section 7I, which said that, okay, you do not need to give your data in almost all the other conditions except, and they gave some certain exceptions. For example, when processing data for medical treatment during an epidemic, for any kind of consent requirements related to employment. That means in these cases, if someone wants to take your data, they need not even have your consent. Now, putting it all into perspective, the question of the editorial is, we can be aspiring towards AI techniques, but as long as we don't have stricter laws in our country, if we go forward with AI surveillance, what is going to be a problem is the citizen's privacy, which is a fundamental right of the citizen, is going to get affected. Now, in this perspective, is what you have to understand, what you can form a judgment based on this for your interview. Now, the idea is it is not the use of AI in governance that is the problematic thing. The problematic thing is that the use of AI is unchecked and there is no sufficient safeguards. Now, to prevent any kind of misuse, what is needed is a comprehensive regulatory framework where people who are the citizens of the country are aware of their rights. They don't have to divulge their details if it is not necessary. So the editorial goes on to say that consent mechanisms, transparency reports, and judicial oversight is required at every stage of collecting the data of a citizen. If you are not able to ensure that, then you should not go forward with collecting the citizens' data. This is the final idea of the editorial. Now, one notable thing that you can jot down with respect to this editorial is they have mentioned as to how EU, the European Union, which is like a pioneer when it comes to privacy related matters, how have they gone about regulating and doing surveillance in their nations? They have gone about with something called as a risk-based approach. Risk-based approach means not everybody's data will be taken for surveillance. Out of all of the citizens, they would be divided into the potential risks that their activities are causing. For example, some of them are unacceptable risk, others are high risk, and some are minimal risk levels. Based on your risk quotient, whatever data of yours can be collected. So, for example, unacceptable risk activities such as real-time remote bioidentification for law enforcement, they are prohibited under the EU law. So this is where you have to understand India has always considered EU as like a torchbearer when it comes to privacy matters. So in this case also, India should maybe take what EU has done with respect to their AI in surveillance and use it to do the surveillance in our country. Only then can there be a balance achieved between law enforcement and privacy. I hope this topic and this editorial is clear to one and all. We'll meet again tomorrow.